number 2. This is what I call stage 2 of the series of building better health 1 month at a time. This goes hand in hand with my video series that I did on the endocrine system, your hormones, and mineral nourishment. If you haven't watched that video series, I highly recommend it. It gives the premise for everything that I'm talking about, gives the whole point of why I'm even having this discussion. I'm not telling you 1, 2, 3, you're going to lose all your weight and have 6 packs, abs in 90 days. This is not what this is about. This is a step-by-step method of how to be a good steward with your health, biblically. So if you also haven't watched video 1 of this, please just don't even watch the rest of it. If you haven't watched video 1, this is just not important. I don't care about the numbers. Nobody watch this. If you haven't watched video 1, do not watch this. Go back and watch video 1 because you need a foundation of good mineral cellular health. You need that foundation. Don't build a house on sinking sand. Don't think that you can exercise and cut anything if you do not have good energy metabolism balance. So that being said, this is stage 2, building your health 1 month at a time. And in that first video of this series, I talked about the first 4 months. In this video, I'm going to talk about the next 4 months. So if you watch the video series on the hormones and nutrition, the very first first 2 videos that I talked about were about your mitochondrial health and your insulin resistance. And then the 3rd and 4th videos that I talked about were about calming your nervous system, because in our society, we carry a lot of stress. We carry a lot of stress because of oxidative stress, because of our diets, about the video 1 and 2. We carry a lot of stress because of American lifestyle. I say that we are Christians where it's like the Israelites in Egypt, and Pharaoh says, oh, so you want to go worship your Lord? Well, instead I need you to build bricks and we're going to take away your straw. It's just this breakneck pace of hustle culture, productivity. My value is wrapped up in how much I do and what I accomplish and all of my achievements and all of my success, and to make sure that I have it in a Pinterest-worthy picture for the whole world to see. So it is definitely counterculture to focus on what I'm going to talk about in this video. And that is that in the 5th month, I want you to try to maintain that calorie range, just the maintenance, and try not to binge eat or stress eat as I ask you to do this next thing. So your food focus is just maintain the first 4 months, what we did there, and then learn how to manage your stress load and develop better sleep and rest habits. And in this one, I'm going to encourage just a little bit of gentle movement, a little bit of gentle exercises, because our society, again, is all about cortisol, all about adrenaline, all about extreme. And what that does is that it kicks in your adrenals, which we're trying to balance. We're trying to have good health. We're trying to not live on that epinephrine spike, because when you live off of your adrenal function, then it will draw the fatty chain acids from your liver, because that's what happens when cortisol spikes. That's what happens when you do those extreme activities and those 90-minute hit videos that get rid of 1,500 calories of your day. Your cortisol and your stress levels are going to kick in overdrive, and they're going to call the fat from your liver, because that's what they're supposed to do. They're going to get your heart rate going, which is going to put sodium into your blood, because your body says, we need this to survive. So all of those chronic things, that high blood pressure from all of the sodium in your blood because you're living off of stress hormones, I'm trying to bring those down and calm your nervous system in a way to where you can function in your daily life and have a balance of rest and productivity. So in this month, I want you to get up in the morning, and there's I think it's circadian rhythm. It could be circadian rhythm. I've heard it both ways. So your circadian rhythm, which is that rhythm of your cortisol, where in the morning you wake up and it says, it's a good day. All right, cortisol, we're going to come up to a little bit of levels. Cortisol in and of itself isn't bad. Chronic cortisol is. That overload of stress is. So your cortisol gets up, and this is a good time to go open up your blinds and look at the sunshine so that your body says, it's morning. Yay. And then if you have the opportunity, this would be a great time to start a gentle exercise routine. And so what I recommend is a 20-minute walk, maybe outside, so that your body, again, gets the sunlight and the natural vitamin D. So you go for a 20-minute walk, pray, talk to the Lord, count your blessings, experience gratitude, share with him all of everything that's on your heart, then come back and do a gentle strengthening exercise. I personally love Pilates because I find it is gentle, and it helps me feel a little bit more energized rather than depleted at the end of it. But also light weights, I do those in the morning, but about 10 or 15 minutes of strength. So I know this is, again, counterculture, because there are the extreme weightlifters who are like, spend that 45 minutes all on strength and you hardly need to do any cardio in your life. And then there's the people who are like, no, it's all about calories and we need to get as much, cardio in so that we can eat more food. No, I'm just talking about a routine that is good for your health and the sleep and rest cycle. So then you come back and you do those stretches, because a healthy spine, if you have a deteriorating spine, your life age, your body age, it gets rapidly older the tighter your spine is. So focus on your spine health. Your spine is actually connected to your nervous system. Your nervous system runs out of your vertebrae. So really focus on those hamstring stretches and your spinal stretches, and just so much to keep yourself loose. So about 20 minutes of walking, 15 minutes of gentle strengthening, and 10 minutes of stretches. And then that wakes your body up for the day, and you've had some time of gratitude with the Lord, and your body says, this is morning. And so your cortisol goes up, and then work. Be diligent, not hectic. Do your job. If you have too much to do, I really do believe that women, if you listen to health podcasts, you'll hear over and over, there's just too many demands on women. They're expected to be the CEO of their company. They're supposed to be, the girl boss. And then they're expected to come home and keep the house, and they have large responsibility for raising the children. It's just too much. And that's the complaint over and over. There are too many demands placed upon women. And this is when I say I'm a biblical counselor. And the Bible says that the older women are to teach the younger women to love and obey their husbands, to love their children, and be a keeper at home. I'm a King James Bible believer. I don't believe it says a keeper of the home. It says a keeper at home. And it doesn't say working at home, working from home. A keeper at home. It's your responsibility to manage all those things at home. If you can embrace that and say, okay, so then all of those other things that the world's telling me I need to do to be successful are inaccurate. I just need to love and obey my husband and love my children and be a keeper at home. Then that means I do have the time in my day to manage my own time and get up and do my exercise, even if I'm taking my kids with me. And then I do have the time to read my Bible with my family. And I do have the time to spend making food and snacks and dinner and get everything that I need to get done, and maybe even have a ministry. I have the time. That's what this month is about. Be a little bit more at home. Be a little bit more focused on those homemaking skills. Cut back a little bit. You don't need to go. Look at your things that are pulling you outside of the home and say, are these necessary? Do these help me to know the Lord and help my children to know the Lord? and help us to reach others so that they can know the Lord? Or are we just really busy? Do I have one day a week where my body can rest and recover and restore? I personally don't think that's Sunday. I consider Sunday the Lord's Day and a day full of ministry. But I do believe that there was an example that on the seventh day God rested. And Jesus did say that the Sabbath day was for man, not man for the Sabbath. I don't believe you have to keep the Sabbath for the law, but the day of rest was before the law, as an example. I think if you look at our health, what we're missing is rest. So I would ask you to look at your day and say, am I able to get everything that I need to get done by the end of the work day? And for me, my end of the work day, I consider that when the kitchen is clean after dinner and the dishwasher is going, that's the end of my work day. And then my body and all of that cortisol and all that, whatever my body needs just to function, all that energy that's been being created because I have enough oxygen and ceruloplasmin and I have enough sugar balance, and then they can just switch, and all that magnesium can be used to switch everything down. Rest and restore and recover. If you can find a way to curb the social and image pressures of being busy, and pull things back to where you're at home more, and you are at home so that you can be a keeper at home, and you are at home so that you can make lunch and make dinner and make your breakfast and make your snacks and tend to the laundry and tend to the chores and tend to the children. And if you're single, then hopefully maybe you have the wonderful, wonderful privilege of a keeper at home mother who can be that domestic support, and you guys can work together in that realm to where, hey mom, I'm really focusing on cutting, back, I'm trying to focus on balanced foods. Can you help me out with this? But either way, we can't do it all. You can't, doing all of that food prep and all of your laundry and all of your chores and working a full-time job and taking care of your ministries and having a social life and exercising, I'm telling you, you will crumble physically and mentally. Prove me wrong. So month 3 is just maintaining your calories and having a lifestyle change. Month 5, actually. Month 6. This is similar to month 5, except for rather than your lifestyle change and getting rest, what I'm trying to do is get you to where you have enough energy to where in this month you face conflict. Calming your nervous system and dealing with those long-term chronic stressors. And I talk about this in video 4 of the Hormone and Nutrition series of how to work through trauma and fear and anxiety. I have lots of videos on self-care and trauma and narcissism and anxiety and social anxiety and fear and conflict and dealing with difficult people in your life. But I would take this month to resolve it within yourself. I really believe that there are some conflicts that will never be resolved with other people. You can't control other people. You can't change people. You can't prove that you're right to other people. You can't cause, wayward children to do right. I'm not saying fix the external circumstances. I'm saying find that tackle box, that toolbox, that shield of faith to where you have some brain control and some inner peace. But really, that peace, when you focus on the Lord and you focus on how to deal with your mind battles and the anxiety and the traps and the circular thinking and the recycling of bitterness, I want you to work through those this month without stress eating. Because it is a physiological thing that when your cortisol goes up, for some reason, you crave sugar. And want you to focus on maintaining just entering in your food and eating your breakfast and your snack and your God-made drinks at this moderate calorie level, and manage your stresses. Deal with that trauma. Work through the conflict. Create a prayer journal so that you are keeping track of what is going on in your life and how you're working through it. And then month 7, now that we've actually built a solid foundation of minerals and cutting back on the sugars so that your body isn't breaking down because of oxidative stress, and you had better sleep habits, a better life rest balance so that at the end of the night you can sleep and then wake up in a good restful state, and you have worked through your conflict without binge eating, without caving to, I'm just going to go out to eat and grab this because I'm just so tired of dealing with it. I'm just going to grab a drink because it's going to make me feel better. Once you've learned how to emotionally walk through the gray area of discomfort and come out on the other end without going to your vices, now I'm going to add a switch. And this is where you need to take some time to step back and say, what am I eating for dinner? There was a meme once that said, nobody told me that adulting was going to have to try to be, what are we eating for dinner every night? And that is why I have that 5-week meal plan. This isn't so that people will come to our webpage. It's just there to be a help, because when I got married, I didn't know how to cook anything. I called my mother-in-law and I was like, so you make chicken, how do you do that? And she says, well, I bake it. And I said, when you say bake, like how high do you set an oven to bake chicken? And she's like, oh, it's, and she told me, and I was like, what do you put on chicken to make it taste good? Just oblivious of how to cook or to do anything in balance, and let alone when you're trying to go through this world of people who they tell you that you can't eat this, you can't eat this type of chicken, you can't eat this type of beef, and you can't have salt, and you can't have fruits, and you can't have legumes, and you can't have nightshades, and you can't have dairy, and you're just like, what in the world can I even eat? Don't listen to that. Look at the Bible and focus on moderation and real foods that God made. The closer you get to how God made it, that's better. But I have that 5-week meal plan up there because that's literally what we eat. I have it printed up, and at the beginning of the week, I kind of write out my list of everything I need to do for that week, and then I say, okay, what do I need to buy at the grocery store? And that's what we eat, and it's healthy, and it's balanced. And you can use that as a resource, or you can make up your own. But what I want you to do this month is to focus on adding 1 cup of vegetables to every single dinner, and then make sure that your dinners are made with real food. Not processed food, not prepackaged food, not taco packets. Real food that you have made. Because I want you to learn how to cook with real foods, because just even realizing, wait, so then how do you make tacos without a taco packet? Well, I do have a recipe for taco meat in there, because it's just very simple spices that you could just use regularly. It's not complicated, and you don't have to make this big jar of taco seasoning and then you scoop, 1 tablespoon for every time you have tacos. No, it's just a really simple amount of things that you just have on hand. You don't have to pre-prepare them. Learning how to cook with real foods is such an underrated skill, and it needs to be passed on to people. When I say 1 cup of vegetables to dinner, I want to caution people, because I do know that in our society, there are some cultures that feel you need to have 4 or 5 side dishes. You don't. So 1 cup of vegetables, like a cup of green beans, or a cup of peas, or a cup of roasted broccoli, or a cup of roasted Brussels sprouts, or a cup of, just gauge how much asparagus, or mixed vegetables, or chopped up tomatoes with avocados. You don't need 4 or 5 side dishes of vegetables loaded with cheese and butter. I'm not anti-butter. I'm just saying you don't need that it's probably better, again, to even have moderation of vegetables. Have an entree of good meats and fats, and have your carbs be some whole grains and vegetables. You'll get your fats in your meat. You just will. You have skin on your meat, you have fat within meat. If you have ground beef, you have fat in that. You'll have your fats, you'll have your flavors. You have cheese with other food. You just scale back a little bit, but make sure that you are having at least a cup of vegetables in every dinner. And this month, I want you to focus on making a 5-week meal chart of dinners made from real foods that your family will eat that include vegetables in every single meal. And then again, maintain that calorie base. So I don't want you to raise or I don't want you to lower. It's going to be a big enough deal just to try to figure out how to be at home to make dinner, to thaw meat, to cook meat that takes time, and to figure out what your family likes to eat, especially with a moderation of vegetables that aren't just loaded with cheese. And then month 8, same idea, but with lunches. And so my 5-week meal plan has dinners and lunches that we eat. And it's the same idea, is make sure you have at least 1 cup of vegetables with your lunch. 2 cups if it's like leafy greens, but at least 1 cup of vegetables with your lunch. And have the rest of your lunch be real whole foods. So, and then maintain the calories. That is stage 2, which is just focusing on your nervous system and nourishing your nervous system with a lifestyle of rest and productivity, good conflict management, and healthy home-cooked food with a focus on vegetables.